Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Captain Blackjack. Today we're going to take a look at World of Warships, something I played in the closed beta, as you can see from the Arkansas beta down there. We're going to go with the USS New Mexico. Now this was one of the last of the Dreadnought series built before the Colorado succeeded it at Tier 7. This Tier 6 has an average of 16 to 343mm of armour on the Citadel, 53,200 overall hit points with the maximum hull. Like all battleship, well, all American battleships, she has very heavily armoured Citadel, or as little armour towards the fore and aft and the gun casemate, so she's quite easy to rack if you know where you're firing. Main battery consists of 4 turrets containing 3 356mm artillery pieces, capable of 1.8 rounds a minute. It's about a 30-second reload, 31 seconds. She contains 18 secondary armaments, 8 of these single 127mm Mark 19s and 10 127mm Mark 7s. Now, it is a scary armament if you are a Russian destroyer, particularly with your short-range torpedoes, or even the US destroyers if you're not careful. AA defences, when you first get this, are frankly piss poor. The upgraded hulls don't give you a great deal better. You're never going to be able to take on a dedicated airstrike in this thing. 2 sets of 40mm Bofors, 4 doubles and 4 singles. These were the mainstay AA armament on most US and British battleships. The 127s are also dual purpose, well, the deck mounted 127. Manoeuvrability. This was not a fast ship, nor was it a slow ship. Average of 21 knots, which was the American doctrined maximum speed at the time. Concealment, not the stealthiest thing in the world. 13.8 surface detectability, 11.3 air detectability. But, if you look carefully, your main battery firing range is 3.5 kilometers further than your said surface detectability. Now that can be a godsend, because by the time anything realises, particularly Japanese battleships that obviously outrange the US counterparts, you're well within range. So let's take a quick look, shall we? Though more astute of you will have noticed that this is a bot game and that Targo is a complete moron. Such things happen. Never mind. Doesn't do a great deal of damage. Tier 8 premiums were never a good idea. Never mind. Well, moving on. Ahead we have a Nurburg. Again, it's a bot game, so they're not even going to attempt to dodge these, which is a little irksome, considering the AI on most other games actually proves to be a challenge. Don't worry, there is a PvP game coming up after this, but there's the accuracy of these guns. That's not fantastic, but it's not terrible either. There are a lot worse out there. Comparable to a counterpart Tier 6 is, she is, I would say, average. The Warspite is one as a Brit, I am biased towards the Warspite. However, as a ship gentleman, I suppose I'll have to use. Never serving in the Navy, I was British Army, but I must admit that I prefer the Warspite purely for the bigger guns. Shorter range, but they hit a lot harder. Citadel hit there on that Nurburg. Completely missed that one. And switch to the Pensacola. No, Nurburg. I was so indecisive here. It was so early in the morning, just to get this video up and running. I couldn't shoot straight. You'll see in the PvP game later. I get really indecisive, but halfway through it. In the end, I choose the Pensacola. Yes, that's armor piercing. Yes, that's a Pensacola. It has actually got the armor for armor piercing to be a nuisance. 2 hits out of 12. That was terrible. That's poor shooting on my part there. This is actually quite a dull PvE game. Even when I was playing it, I was sat there thinking, But this is the first game where I had more than 3 ships on each team. Joys of an EU time zone on NA servers. Never mind. The salvo rate on this is 34 seconds for a reload. Now obviously you can bring that down with commander skills and other lovely perks. The modifications, that's the word I was looking for, I tend to use, are the range increment as well as the turret traverse and reload, if I can get away with them, because outranging yourself, particularly if somebody else is running a maxed out New Mexico, most people don't bother with the range upgrade, they go with accuracy instead. I personally would rather be able to fire further and engage before. Oh, there you go, there's a crappy AA for you. That is a spotting plane doing a complete circle of my ship, and there's the second one, there's the original one again. Now this is actually embarrassing to, oh no, I got one. It's embarrassing to watch how long that takes. I think I'm firing at that one for the next 4 or 5 minutes. Pensacola should go down with this salvo, and yep, there it is. Citadel hits. There you go. There's your proof. Armor piercing does work on tier 7 cruisers and above, because they are not actually cruisers by definition, they are heavy cruisers, so they've got battleship equivalent armor. Not same tier battleship obviously, but the Pensacola's got similar armor to a Wyoming or a New York. I thought about having a pop. In fact, I think I do have a pop at this destroyer, and I miss horrendously, because frankly you're very rarely going to hit a destroyer unless he's doing something very, very stupid in a battleship at that kind of range. Yeah, there you go. If he kept going straight, they might have hit. I had to skip ahead here because it was a long search for this New Mexico, which is my counterpart. Again, the AI needs some work, because all this New Mexico has done all game is travel up and down the 910 line constantly. Funnily enough, it actually sinks something, which is a shade embarrassing. I think it crests this corner. There it goes. There's one salvo, second salvo, third salvo, and there he goes. Obliterated him. I led a little bit too much on that salvo. It wasn't a bad hit. 7 out of 12 isn't bad at all, but I could have fired a test shot first. But still, the New Mexico itself is a good little ship. She gets plenty of consumables, especially with the superintendent. She's prone to fire, so I would highly recommend that you take the upgraded damage control party. And stat screen when it decides to load. There it is. 53,000 credits, 707 experience. Again, bot games, you very rarely see anything. Well, as promised, here's your PvP game. Yes, I'm aware I'm in a battleship. Yes, I'm aware that that is a player-driven destroyer, so it's not a retard. What? Let me correct that. He just drove dead straight into a salvo of torpedoes from our destroyer. Genius. Oh, it gets better, by the way. You'll see later on in this clip. It does get better. We have a Furataka on that far side. Now, I was so tempted to launch my spotter plane and lob shells over that island to ruin his day, but I spotted this New Mexico trundling along. Where he thought he was going is beyond me. I think he'll fade behind that island and then make another appearance later on. As you can see, I am on the left flank, heading towards Bravo on this map. Generally, for battleships, it's better to stick together on this, because there is a lot of open space, so you end up having long-range duels with other battleships. If the enemy has a Japanese battleship, then you better hope to Christ that you can get in range before you get spotted, because this map is perfect for the Fuso and the Congo, and I think the Miyoki as well. They're rather brutal at long range. There's a Pensacola. Again, notice I'm running AP, not HE. The shells are actually good. They don't hit him, but the shells lead was actually bang on. That's exactly where I wanted them to drop, but I was not providing enough range. So that was terrible shooting on my part. And lo and behold, there's that New Mexico. Now, I was really worried that I wasn't going to get shot off because of this island, but then I realised that I'm in a New Mexico firing at 16 kilometres. So Colorado's just got a kill, I think. Detonation, so that was an ammo rack. And a little bit too high, lead him on. Salvo off. Now these, since the latest patch, I've noticed that armor piercing really aren't doing the damage that they should. I mean, that's 4 hits and I did a quarter of his health. Only one of those actually penned. Now at the range, plunging fire, accuracy, etc., I can understand that. But it gets better. It does get better. Second salvo should go off now. Yep, there it is. I've been spotted, and there's the incoming fire. Now I have no idea, absolutely no idea what is firing at me. It has to be a cruiser because of the rate of fire on it. So I'm guessing it would have to be something like Cleveland, or I would say it's a Cleveland actually. I couldn't tell you. I wasn't paying attention. There is a New York. Now this New York is a tier 5. He has 12 guns. Does he have 12 guns? 10 guns, sorry. The New York has 10 guns. The Wyoming has 12. New York has 10 guns. They are lower caliber than mine. Now this is what I mean about the AP. Now bearing in mind that these landed dead on his deck, on his casemates to his ship. 5 hits, nothing. Not a scratch. There you go, there's the New York. There's a Furataka and a New Mexico over there. Now that New Mexico, I've got to give him his credit. He is actually not a bad captain at all. Oh, it was a Nuremberg. Nuremberg. Not entirely sure how to pronounce it. It's a German cruiser, so I don't really have much to worry about because he has tiny guns. Just a really high rate of fire. Again, that was terrible shooting on my part. 2 hits and I did about 5,000 damage. Absolutely awful shooting. Now that Nuremberg started to get somewhat irksome, so I thought, manoeuvre behind the island, cut off his range, and those sailed over nice and clean, which was always nice. Notice the arc on this is baffling. It doesn't actually arc, it almost proceeds and then just drops. It's an entertaining sight. Now this is where I got really indecisive. Do I finish the New York? Do I engage the Colorado? Do I hit the New Mexico? We've got 2 other battleships here. You know, it's a 3-on-3 battleship fight, but we have a cruiser. We do have a cruiser in support. Ooh, who do I pick on? And I thought, is that Colorado still sat still? And no, he's actually moved. So he's actually moving now. And then the New York shoots me in the face. And that pretty much seals the deal. I give him a broadside straight through the centre. Look at that, dead. That Colorado decides that I look delicious. I hit my repair consumable early. I actually meant to hit that when those shells landed, because that did a lot of damage. That really hurt. The Colorado is taking fire from 2 sides, 3. 2 sides, but 3 ships, 4 if you include myself, because he's getting hammered on the right by a destroyer, I think. But this is beautiful. Now, to quote the mighty Jingles, battleship drivers, why you so silly? Now, just watch. Right, that destroyer way out on the right on the map. Right, he has been spotted. He has been spotted because he is firing his guns. Those are torpedoes. Now, that Colorado has got to know that there is a destroyer over there because the destroyer is firing at him. So he's got to know that there are going to be torpedoes in the water. What do you think he does? That's right. He keeps turning. He keeps turning on exactly the same route. Now here's the beautiful thing. Watch. I knew he was going to die, and boom. There you go. Took the torpedoes and sank. battleship drivers, as a fellow battleship captain, don't sail in straight lines when there are destroyers on the enemy team alive, because that is what will happen every single time. And here I whiffed again. I should have waited for him to finish his turn. I know, that was terrible shooting, and I could have actually killed him as well if I'd waited for the end of that turn. And then I should have fired now. Should have led and fired now, because he's only got 12,000 hit points. I could have finished him off. They lose a cruiser because I thought, oh, I've got time to reload, and then one of their cruisers died, which sealed it for them really. And there you go, victory. Not the greatest game in the world in the New Mexico. I'm not the greatest captain of battleships. I love battleships, but I'm not fabulous at them. But there you are. As always, everybody, have a good day. Later.